Amazing. Well, everyone give a very warm welcome to Shabazz. He's going to be running a fantastic bootcamp session today. And yeah, I'll pass it over to you then.
Awesome. Yeah. Are you waiting for someone? If not, I can share my screen and then get started, right?
No, it looks like, we're close to the number of people who we normally have. So, yeah, just go ahead and get started.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, let me know when you see this screen. Uh, but I
All
believe this
clear.
is what I have got a message from Yash is more about let's integrate Web3 auth in a Solana app, right? And this is what we will be doing in this session. And before doing that, I would love to talk more about what Web3 auth does and what we are aiming to solve. Right, so let's get started. My name is Mohammad Shahbaz Alam. I lead the DevRel team here at Web3 Auth. We do lots of content about integration and try to educate people on how to integrate Web3 Auth through our docs, guides, and some tutorials, and even participating in these, online sessions. We want to talk more about like how easy it is to get started to blockchain. So let's understand what and how and why we are here, right? Um, like you might be aware, if not, like wallet and key management has become like a massive thing these days. Many companies have jumped in to secure your private key, right? So there are ways, if people are familiar, like crypto started with the ledger. People used to do that security and storing the funds on the hardware ledger. Then came the era where there are wallets where they people used to just remember the seed phrases, whether writing in a piece of paper. But that in itself is not a good user experience. People started feeling, yeah, this is not what we should do, and in that process they people and users have misplaced a lot of keys, and that leads to loss of funds. Nearly 20% of Bitcoin lost due to bad key management practices, and Bitcoin was the first of those blockchains, and the introduction to blockchain what people have adopted from. Then there are like high drop rates because of the complex onboarding process. If you have seen MetaMask onboarding or any other wallet which does the seed phrases, even in that case, I would say Phantom has the similar approach. So people have started feeling that it's very difficult to onboard people, right? And we even say that if crypto is not for your grandma, then crypto is not for anyone, right? So if you can onboard your grandma to crypto, use the crypto applications in crypto, that's how the UX should be, right? um so this is what we at Web3 Auth is doing, is that like we are a wallet infrastructure, making sure that your wallet key, private keys are secured properly. So this is two of the login flow, what people are very much familiar now from Web2 login experiences, that like people enters your app or dApp. They log in through SSO, or login through let's say Google, Facebook, or here in that case you see Twitter, right? And then start using the app. People are very much familiar of that particular flow. When it comes to Web3, as I was talking about, first they enter the app, understands the needs of why wallet, like, and then they somehow install the application on the mobile or the extension on the browser, just to understand what it does, and then onboard it into that phrase, then set up and store the seed phrases, and then start using that app. And in that process, you will be worrying whether if what if I lose my seed phrases, right? In that, what Web3 does is that it smoothens the user's journey into Web3 by providing the similar onboarding flow using these social logins. And if someone still like if someone loves these, or if they have already onboarded to wallets like MetaMask and Phantom, they can still connect with their existing wallet using connect with wallet. We will see that in a demo app very soon. In an overview, like there are like 800 plus dApps and wallets using Web3 Auth, 12 million plus active wallets a month. We have great enterprise and bigger enterprise and dApps, including Fox, Mask Singer, Binance Wallet Extension, Trust Wallet, Chess.com. Even we did some NFT launch for Trump. I think that dApp was using Web3 Auth to launching the Trump NFTs. So how does Web3 Auth does whole thing, and what does Web3 Auth care about, and how would someone integrate it? So the flow is very simple from the front end and to Web3 Auth network. So the flow starts from like the front end application triggers a login using their familiar providers. In this case, I'm just showcasing how it can be done with the aggregate providers like Auth0, similarly with Firebase and Cognito, or you can choose to do like skip this directly. You can use Google to trigger the application. What we care about is more of like something called JWT tokens, which is in the form of ID token. So the ID token is passed for Web3 passed to Web3 auth for the validation, and then Web3 auth in returns the private key share. So here in this case, there are three different factors where the private key is split into. So one is the OAuth share, second one is the device share, and the third is the backup share or the two-factor share. So you for the reconstruction of the private key, so the default flow is like you need 2 out of these 3 shares to reconstruct the private key. So the private key never sits on Web3 Auth's network or server, even with the OAuth provider. Here there is another splitting off which we call um, distributed key generation, TKG. Here, like 5 out of 9 nodes are required to reconstruct the OAuth share. Similarly, the device share. So using these two, one can generate the private key. So this is more of a overall gist of what we do, which is shown here, like how the OAuth share is another split into multiple nodes, and then we need 5 out of that nodes. So I just don't want to give much of the architectural explanation here. We have that we like extensive docs just to explain what we does in the key infrastructure level, right? So let's this is the dashboard what is needed to get started with Web3 Auth. If you're new to Web3 Auth, just head over to dashboard.web3auth.io to sign up for a free account. A free account has like a very extensive use case so that you can use for your applications, even test it, and even go for prod, and then you can choose whether you want it a paid plan or not. So in this talk, let's see everything in action, more about like how would you go about integrating Web3 Auth. So let's go over the docs. So we have docs here at web3auth.io/docs. I think the best would be to go from the quick start. That's how we have designed it. So at Web3, there are 2 products to start with, but for simplicity, I'll just say that like let's start with the plug and play where Web3 has a UI and UX flow, all built in for users to get started with get started with Web3 really quickly. And the core kit is more about if you wanted to bring in your UI and UX, basically, then you would require more of the core kit solution. So in this case, how do we go about like if we have example apps? I think I'll just start from there, and maybe we'll just see how does that look in localhost, and even we can test on production as well. But in short, I'll say that like to getting started with Web3 Auth, you just need like 3 or 4 steps, right? One is to install the package using Web3 Auth modal. It will install the latest V7 package. Then you would require something called client ID. So you would have to create a account by visiting Web3 Auth dashboard. In that, you would need to create a project, and while you create the project, just follow the basic steps, you will get something called client ID like this. Then since this is quick start, so we'll see for Solana what we need, right? For Solana, the Web3 auth constructor need these parameters. One is client ID, what you get from the dashboard. Second one, while you are creating the project, you will have the options to create on different environment. We recommend starting up from the Sapphire DevNet and then moving into the Sapphire mainnet project, Sapphire mainnet Web3 auth network. And apart from these two Web3 auth specific thing, what you need is more of a chain config, which is Solana based. So in chain namespace, you will pass Solana. Chain ID is depending on the mainnet, DevNet, and chainnet, mainnet, testnet, and DevNet. You pass the chain ID accordingly, and similarly the RPC target. I think apart from these, others are optional. You can feel free to ignore that, but it's better to pass the whole chain config. And the next step is to do the Web3 auth init modal. And the final step is just to do Web3 auth.connect. So I'll quickly, and also since this is more of a Webpack, it will have a Webpack issue if you just integrate these steps. So we have extensive list on troubleshooting on Webpack issues, but this is specific for the React app. What you would require is to do some dev dependencies for React app rewired and save the buff. You would need to create a config override file. So in this, I think we have a example app. Let me run through one of the example app we have. So all of our examples live in the one of the GitHub repo, which is Web3 auth PNP examples. I'll share that link later. But in this case, you'll find more of the SDK related examples. In this particular one, you will have like for Solana, let's say let's start with the React Solana modal example, right? Okay, we'll do this. Open an integrate terminal. So let's go over like these. I think I have not the dependencies installed. I'll do this is npm install. I'm doing that, and then I'll start the app. So here there are a bunch of other stuff already built in. What we care about is more of these two particular packages, Web3 auth modal and Web3 auth base. As soon as you do that, then again, these are very specific ones for the React. You would need a state variable to setting up, and you would require the use effect hook to initialize Web3 auth. The initialization happens similarly, like we need the client ID and chain config. These are more of the something what we have it for white label. I'll showcase what it does, all of these. Then we have Web3 Auth network. So this particular project is based on Cyan network, but if you're starting new, always choose Sapphire DevNet or Sapphire Mainnet over the legacy network. This boilerplate code has a lot of things built in previously, but I'll go one by one. Let the installation happens, but before that, if you can see the same step, web3.init modal, and then in the login functions, we do the similar approach like web3.connect. So how does it look like and everything? Just give it a moment of like once this is installed, we'll go over and then run the app and then see. Yeah, I think looks like this is done. And okay. This particular app is already configured on different parameters, but let's see. Starting development server. Okay, looks like it's there. So the app is very skeleton and barebone. It's just that the login button, that particular function is hooked up, which is web3auth.connect. Let me reload it for some reason. VS Code stucks sometime. Yeah, looks good. So on login, the login function will trigger basically that is calling the web3.connect. So what we see on the connect is the modal, which is the pre-built modal, what we have in the plug and play SDK. We have the another SDK similar to modal using no modal. So what it does that it will allow you to connect with one of the providers, social providers, with your particular UI. So if you don't want to use this particular modal, feel free to use your particular screens. But for the simplicity, we'll just use this particular modal and continue with Google. Let's connect with my Google account. And once that is done, I hope I will be logged in. Yes. So we are logged in, and what we see have different functions here. So one is once you log in, what you get for your users. So we have a function called get user info. So I think let me move this here somewhere. Yeah, get user info will give you the user details. Then there is something called get ID token, which is returning the JWT token. So this particular function is like authenticate user function. So I'll give you the docs, which is here, modal usage. So we have all these functions. Connect does the login. Then we have get user info, which gives you the user information. The other one is the authenticate user, which gives an ID token, which has more of user related information. But this is mainly use it. We recommend this is to use it for the backend services where you would need to pass this particular ID token and verify at the backend whether this ID token is generated by Web3 or not. So this is what this particular is being used for. Then get account. This is your Solana account. If you're using the Solana provider, Solana chain config and Solana chain namespace, you will get the Solana specific account. And then it will fetch your Solana balance. These are basic functions, like basic blockchain related functions, what you get, which again is very straightforward, similar. The connect blockchain. Let's go to this Solana here. Right. Yeah. So the functions are similar. User info, get account and balance is just fetching the connections and then passing the address of the account and getting the balance. Then there are things more around like how do you send the transaction, how do you sign a message. Once you sign the message, you get the buffer. Yeah, even if the fund is there, and I mean it's better to test on test nets and get the testnet funds, and do the transaction straight away. Sign message does that. Send transaction will do that once you have the balance. I believe this SDK, this particular example uses the mainnet one. I hope so. Right. If it's mainnet, then I don't have the mainnet one. I think this is devnet. So if there are devnet Solana faucet, you can request the faucet just to test out Sol faucet. We'll do that. So I believe that we don't have anything here, but it will airdrop some of the faucet here. And even you can see it on the Explorer once that is done. And yeah, looks like it's went through. Get balance, didn't reflect here. Yeah, so some of the funds did come through from zero. We have something. Not sure on the like send transaction how many Sol we are sending, but it looks like it did go through. Let's go to the Solana. These are more of the blockchain explorers where you can see about your account and the explorer, right? Um, let's see what this happened. So yeah, it was sending 0.00005 just to check on like how the things works. So as you can see, yeah, it did go through, and once you go back, and the fund will have less, like I mean 5 less something. So it's very quick on Solana. The transaction happened really quick, and you can just check on like once the success is happening, the funds will be reflected here on Solana. So this is basically how a dApp would integrate, basically a wallet, right? Giving you the infrastructure on how you want the UI and UX for particular your wallet and your dApp. And using the Web3 Auth's private key, you will be able to, have the accounts, users related balance, the wallet's users will be able to sign messages, send transactions. So yeah, this is what you get. And even if someone wants to export the private key, they can just click on get export private key, which is calling something called get private key, through the provider, which is here, get private key. But it's basically does that, it does the RPC call to the get private key function and get the private key. So yeah, I think this is what the gist is all about. So I didn't want to go from very scratch, just to showcase what it does. Basically, the quick start will have you there. Even these example apps will cover the all overall experience on like how this can be done. So I'm not sure if I have a Solana specific wallet here as an extension, right? I don't have that. Otherwise, if you have a Phantom one, you can just look at this and log in. I believe we have some hosted examples of Solana as well. So if you want to try out like how this looks like, just feel free to go over this one. I think I'm sharing it the link on the chat. This is again same. If you have Phantom, right, if you have Phantom, you can use that. If not, so use the social login or the email or the phone number, and just do the login very very quickly. So mind you, like if you wanted to host your app on 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 your website or any domain, you would need to whitelist this domain, this particular domain to your client dashboard. I mean, to your dashboard, basically. I'll show you how does the dashboard look like. Um, Again, dashboard has similar login flow, which is this. The first one is here, but the project would look like something like this. Like you would need to whitelist your domain here. Once these are whitelisted, then you would be good to go. Else, if it's not whitelisted, it will start yelling that there are some issues and stuff like that. But more or less, you will get the same account as I use the same. This is the same example what I was running on the local host. So that's why I got the same. I believe this is the same account. Um, if not here. Okay. Yeah, pretty much this is what it is. Yeah, this is the same account. That's why I was getting the balance here of something. So, and yeah, pretty much this is what we have for this workshop. If anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to dive deeper. And we have from our team Maharshi in the chats. So if you have any questions, Maharshi will also be addressing the chats. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Any want to know anything else? Feel free to ask, and I would be happy to answer.
All right, Mohammed, or Shabazz, have you come to the end of your presentation then? You're just
Yes,
taking questions at this point in time. you want me to ask
Yes.
the questions out, or do you want to read them yourself?
Uh, yeah, where do I see this? Let
I'm
me.
happy to start reading things out, messages that are in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I can address this. Yeah, oh, feel free to ask questions. It will take time.
Okay.
Just go
Okay.
through that, but I'll address that.
Okay. Okay. Right. So Brandon has asked, so the modal can be customized to your own project needs.
Yes, yes, pretty much everything can be customized. Let me go back, start sharing so that I'll just showcase real quick on few things which was already there, which I didn't cover here. So if you see the like let's say the external options, we have it here, right? Let's log out. So if you see, this is saying that the connect to wallet is there, is will be the external login will be the primary button. If we do the social login, let's say, so all this thing happens on the white label config, which is highly customizable. Now you see the things is here. Then if you want to change the logos, what needs to be appearing here, then you can do that. The mode can be changed into light, dark, and auto. So now when you do that, the dark mode will appear. Not just that, I think you can do right now the column grid is more of 3. You can do like even 2, I believe. And the best part is that we do see now you have like a list of 2. The logos can be customized, things can be customized. Even we have support for I think 9 different languages. So if you just do Korean, I believe this will open up the Korean modal. So we have language support as well as whole customization of the modal. But as I said, if you want more of the customization, use our different SDKs, which is no modal SDK. Again, the similar stand from modal, you just go no modal, and the flow is that you will connect it with your login button, and the trigger login will happen the similar way. It's just that it will go to the, let's say, Google, and what we take care of is more of the ID token. Okay. Yeah. Next.
Next, okay. So the next question is, so the private key is available to the front end. If I log into a malicious website with Web3 Auth, is my private key leaked?
Sorry, what?
So Wei Lin has asked, so the private key is available to the front end? Okay, sorry.
Okay, yeah. So the private key is available to the front end. If I log into malicious website with Web3 auth in my no. So how does this happen is that, let's say, the private key reconstruction happen on your domain. That's why we need once you go the domain needs to be whitelisted on the dashboard along with the client ID. So one thing is the one thing is more about the OAuth share I was talking about. So that is one of a distributed key generation, an MPC approach where the reconstruction of the OAuth share is happening. That's one part. The second is your device. So I think that particular combination along with the client ID of the tab would make your private key. So if you go to a malicious website, I don't see anywhere you will be exposing your private key to the malicious website. Even if the malicious website tries to impersonate a DApp, let's say if somehow they found about the client ID, they won't be able to do that because the domain whitelisting happens on the project, and the malicious website is not able to reconstruct the device. I mean the OAuth share first. The device share lies on your particular device. So if you used a DApp, let's say, and your reconstruction happens with using the OAuth share and the device share, try removing the local storage and or use another browser to log in on the same website. It will ask for a backup share. Then that is why once you log into a Web3 auth related DApp, you should create a backup share, which is the third share. So in case of you losing access to your device or accidentally clearing the cache or the local storage, you can input back so the UI will prompt you to input back the share from the third factor, or need to verify from the third factor. So I think that's also a really good flow. I think I think let me show you how that particular flow looks like. And then I believe this is mandatory or not. Um, Maharshi, if you're here and you can speak, can you confirm
Yep.
this has a this thing MPC, sorry, MFA enabled or not? If not, what happens is that on every third login, we prompt something what we call the MFA screen. So I'll show you how does the MFA screen looks like. The MFA screens is more of these screens. So once you have logged into any tab, it will ask you to. This is the default MFA screen where we at least ask people to have these set of recoveries set up, and we expect people to set up these once they do the login. One is the device, second one is the social share, which what you see, and the third one is more of an email backup where you will get back the share in a form of a seed phrase, just so that you can just copy and paste whenever the prompt is happening. And then whenever that happens, you would need to enter the basic third share, so to reconstruct the whole private key.
And as a
So
developer, you can even make it compulsory for the users to create MFA whenever they
exactly.
log in for the first time. So you can even do that.
Thanks, Maharshi.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. I actually saw that Wayland followed up on that question a bit further down. So they've written, so the private key is different with every domain.
So the private key is different for every users. Private key depends on various factors. One is client ID of the DApp. Second one is something what we call verifiers, like which of the authentication system you're using. So if in the same application, if I use Google login, I'll get a different account, right? That's the reason. If I use a Twitter login, I'll get a different account. So one is client ID, another one is the social login options, or the what internally we call verifiers. So client ID, verifiers, and the domain altogether makes it into the combination of your private key for that particular user. Yeah, that would be the simple and easiest answer.
Amazing. Okay. Brandon Eddie has asked, is there a way to white label Discord members by Discord rank for login?
I think would need to have more context here. Like, what does the white label? I mean, does it mean that those users will be? I mean, there is login with Discord. The login with Discord happens seamlessly. I am not sure about the use case here. By rank of so depending on the rank, I think this is more of a custom logic you would need to create. But Discord login is same as the social login, any of the social login like Google in that case.
And if they provide the rank in their ID token that they give, so we can use that and lead the user to another section by providing a custom logic. So
Yes, exactly.
it
I mean,
depends on what they give. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, we can totally do that if they do the custom JWT token and they provide the rank through that, and then they do the custom logic on their end. Yes, we can do that.
Yep.
All right. After that, Deepak's asked, what is the difference between Web3 auth and Biconomy?
Okay, so I think Biconomy is one of our partner who does which does the gasless transactions. It also they also does the account abstractions SDKs. So if you have integrated Biconomy version 1, the modal what you see on the Biconomy is exactly Web3 Auth's modal. So they have integrated Web3 Auth internally. I'm not sure on the V2 version of Biconomy what they're doing it, but behind the scene what they offer is more of like remember the thing what I showed you how the transaction happens. So in that transaction there is something called transaction fee. So Bioeconomy covers that transaction fee, or it allows people to set up a master account, and the fees will be deducted from that particular account, whichever you choose from. So that's how the gasless transaction happens, so that the user don't pay any gas fee.
Okay. I'm assuming Brandon there was clarifying what his previous question so I'm going to skip over that for now, unless Brandon, you feel like you still want the previous question to be addressed.
Contact you if you have some more questions. Yes, I mean, pretty sure. I think Maharshi, can we give them the community forum link? So if you
Yeah,
are
sure.
in the integration journey or with Web3 Auth, we have a friendly community forum where the developer asks a lot of questions around that. Most of our teams like live on that particular forum, just answering people's questions and making sure that they have the answer, the answer, they get the answers of what they have. So yeah, feel free to reach out here. In terms of our social, if you want, we can definitely give it that as well. But yeah, this is how you will get it to know us, even me, Maharshi, and most of my colleagues. But yeah, next.
Next question. So Bennett has asked, is it possible to get the wallet of a different domain for a social login? For example, user A's Google account on DApp XYZ.
Okay, so is it possible to get back the wallet of a different domain for a social account? So let us say, so it means that you want someone, if it's a recovery mechanism on the same website where you have created the account, yes, but no, in any way, there is no phishing, there is no thing that can be done, even using anyone's client ID. So that can be done. So I think I see a question from Mehrab Latif. Like, what happens if I lose my socials, right? In that case, that's why there are processes to recover that. So this is the PNP solution where it starts with the social login, right? And then it has the device share and then the backup share. What if you lose your primary social, right? Even if you have the backup, I mean, the device share, you can't construct that. Even if you have a backup share, you can't construct that. So in that case, the DApp or even down the line Web3 Auth will allow every end users to reconstruct from any of the two shares, and it's really possible now, even now, if DApp implements that particular feature through the internal lying SDKs, which is called CoreKit SDK, where remember I said about like the UI and UX, you can customize the whole flow however you want. As far as you have custody of two shares, you can reconstruct your private key, or even DApp can decide whether they want two shares to reconstruct the share, reconstruct the private key, or 3 or 4. Like it depends totally up to the DApp, like what is the threshold needed to reconstruct the private key.
Awesome. Okay. Oasis has asked, can I update my device backup? E.g. using a new device.
Yes, I mean, yeah, as soon as you log in, remember the scenario I was talking about, like you logged into your browser, one of the browser, and you have the social login and the device, that's done. If you go to the second device, second browser, it acts as a second device, right? So again, if you do the social login and then try with this same example, I would rather allow you to try with the example I gave you, the working example, the live example. Try it in a 2 different browser, clear the storage, and then you will see what get prompted up. And what it happens is basically then the 2 device shares will be constructed, right? So I think we have app.openlogin.com, remember, right, Hashi? Just to showcase like how many dApps and where my social account has been configured. So we have something called app.openlogin.com. So let's say if I log in with this, it will give me the whole summary of where I've used Web3 Auth related dApps and apps. So in this, if you can see this, I'm using it on app.to.us, even app.cache.io. So this is So I think cache is a really good example I can show you. Here, if you see, there is no modal, right? This is the custom UI, what they have chosen to build. Looks similar, but not exactly the modal. And this gives you this direct options to directly connect with Google, and you will get your details. So as you can see, the devices is just one. Here you can see this is the version is different, so it acts as a two of the device shares. And similarly, you will see different options to like on for different wallets, and wherever you have, it will allow you to do that. So that's why I think if it's always recommend to do the backup share. That's why I have it in app.op login as well. So the factor one is the social. The second one is the device. If you see, I've even used in for Brave, Chrome. Then I have a secondary social recovery options through my Twitter account. And I even have a recovery email sent to my email, which is exactly the seed in a form of a seed phrases. It doesn't need to be if you're designing your UX. And the last one is more of like if you like the plain old password, you can just use that to reconstruct the private key. Basically that.
Okay. Looks like we have one. We'll take one final question before the end of this session. So Mohammed's asked, does the user own the keys to the new wallet? Will they, for
Yes.
example, be able to connect the wallet on Fndn and use it there?
Yes, exactly. They can do that. Remember this thing where we have the options to export the private key. I think I'll share again. So this private key, if you have this here, right? This particular private key, this is the private key. You can just take this private key and import it in Phantom. I don't have it in Phantom related example here. But I could show you exactly. It just works like just bring your Phantom, import it with private key, just import it, and you will be able to do it. So it needs to happen on the dApp. Like dApp needs to expose this function, which is to expose the user's private key on the front end. And it is what we believe that it's user's account. So user should be able to hold their account, and they are the custodial of their account, and Web3Auth is non-custodial.
Well, amazing. It looks like it's just 45 now, so 5:45 my time. So I believe that we have to start closing off the session. Thank you so much to Shabazz and Maharashi for running today's session and for answering all those questions. It seems like everyone really enjoyed it. It was really productive. And yeah, thank you again. I'll be in touch with following up for some of the resources just so I can send those over to the students.
And thank you everyone for joining this. If you have any questions, as Marshi is saying, drop your questions to the community forum and we would love to answer that. And if you're in the process of integrating, yeah, we would love to see what you build.
Amazing. All right. Cheers, guys. I'll see you all again tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.
Thank you.